Are we on live? Meeting is now streaming. Okay. We'll get started in just a moment. Okay, got it. Stop tiptoeing around your truth and the power of decisiveness. I encourage you all to presence yourself before we begin this live journey. So if you're just scrolling on your phone and if you really want to tap in and kind of wake yourself up to some really powerful insights, then I encourage you to just simply pause, turn off all notifications, become aware of your breath. If you're driving, do none of that and just listen. If at any point there's something that I say that aligns for you and that makes it feel great, give me a thumbs up, whatever platform you are watching this, give me a thumbs up, comment down below, say, yes, that hits, I like that. And if you really love it, the greatest thing you can do for me, for the world, is share this. Before going live, I was just meditating and I asked higher self, what should we talk about today? And it quickly came. Let's talk about the idea of not tiptoeing around the truth and the power of decisiveness. There are times in life where our intuition is screaming at us, encouraging us to say something, encouraging us to do something. And then our analytical mind gets into the picture and it starts to speak louder than the intuition. It starts to conjure up reasons why we should tiptoe around the truth and we should go down a different path. And because we live in this world where we prioritize the analytical mind more so than the intuitive mind, we honor the analytical mind more often and we follow that path. And I don't need to tell you that when you follow the analytical mind's path, you're going to create a lot of tension in your life. You're going to create a lot of unfulfillment in your life. You're going to create a lot of discomfort and dis-ease in your life. But you already knew that. So when the time comes where the intuitive mind, your higher self, spirit, is screaming at you, telling you, try this, take the leap, say this, stop doing this. What I want to encourage you, or at least inspire you to dance with, to try on, is this idea of surrendering to that guidance and doing just that and saying just that and making a decision of I am going to follow my intuition above anything else. The power of decisiveness, one of my all-time favorite quotes, is the successful person doesn't make the right decisions. The successful person makes their decisions right. And the term successful person is a really generic term. We can replace that term as the individual who is living a fulfilled existence doesn't make the right decisions. The person who is living a fulfilled existence makes their decisions right. The reason I love this insight so much is because a huge setback, something that really slows us down, is this really unique desire, yearning, impulse inside of us to do the right thing, to not mess up, to not screw up, to not let ourselves down, to not let other people down. And so it creates so much tension. Oh my goodness, I don't want to make a bad decision for myself. I don't want to make a bad decision for my family, for the people I love. And so it creates a lot of doubt, and it inspires us to go down a path that is out of alignment from what our intuitive mind is trying to point us down. So if you begin to operate in this place of you can't make a wrong decision, you get all the power back of, you know what, no matter what I decide to do or don't do, I'm going to make it right. Perhaps if this resonates with you, perhaps you write it down and make it your iPhone background. The successful person doesn't make the right decisions. They make their decisions right. This gives you the freedom to really follow that intuitive compass. Because no matter how crazy and chaotic the world will get around you, you know the ultimate truth, which is you can make this moment right. You can make a difficult decision that actually created a lot of chaos right. You just have to be really courageous in your own thinking, and we can no longer tolerate lazy thinking. This is something I've been talking a lot about recently, is this idea of most people tolerate lazy thinking. In other words, the first thought that pops up inside of their mind, they assume, okay, well, since my mind thought of it, this must be true. We believe in our own thinking, as opposed to creating separation from the mind, because I am not my mind. It's just kind of there, right? Create separation so you become the observer of the mind, and you notice a thought and you analyze that thought. Well, is that thought true or is it false? Oftentimes, the first thought that pops up is false. And it's just the byproduct of the environment, of the last song you listened to, or the last book that you read, the last video you watched. It's just the byproduct of the environment, right? So oftentimes it's untrue. It's just kind of been conditioned in the mind. So that means we can't be lazy with our thinking, because the first thought is oftentimes untrue. So we penetrate a little bit deeper. Okay, what is true? And you just keep penetrating deeper and deeper and deeper until you find the thing that gives you energy, because truth always gives you energy. The truth to any question always gives you energy. It doesn't always make you feel comfortable. Oftentimes it doesn't, but it gives you energy. The idea of adhering to the truth always gives you energy, always gives you energy. We have to really understand this. The truth never restricts you from energy, never makes you feel small. Untruth does. Stop tiptoeing around the truth. How many of us, or better way of saying it, how many people out there know exactly what they want with their career or their relationship, or they know what habits they want to begin to integrate, but they just kind of tiptoe around it? They don't follow the intuitive mind's guidance that says, hey, you need to stop doing this job and you need to start figuring out how to really make this other path successful and work out for you. And instead of following it, we try to like tiptoe around to get to where it's pointing us, when we should just bite the bullet, be decisive, because no matter what happens, we can make this crazy decision right. Same thing with relationships. Oh my goodness, this is a lovely topic to get into. How many of us are in friendships, in intimate relationships, where we know something about this dynamic needs to change, but the idea of changing it creates so much discomfort and makes me feel like, oh my goodness, I don't want to hurt another human being's feelings. So we tiptoe, and we create a lot of pain for ourselves and for the people who we love, right? We just tiptoe, as opposed to following that guidance. And what's really cool is when you stop tiptoeing around the truth and you just follow the intuitive guidance. What's really cool about this is you literally live 10 lifetimes in 1 year, because we waste so much time tiptoeing, as opposed to intuitive mind tells you to do this, done, do it to the best of your ability, right? We're not perfect by any means, but you're able to live 10 lifetimes in 1 year. It's really interesting to me, just an observation. If I speak to somebody who I haven't talked to in a year, right? And I'm like, hey, how's everything going? Oh, the same old, doing the same thing every single day that they did last year, operating in the same way. Relationship dynamics are the exact same. Health is the exact same. They're still tiptoeing. Nothing's really changed in a year. And then I reflect on my life and my devotion to going straight towards the truth. My devotion to that has allowed me to live so many different lifetimes in 1 year. That doesn't mean they're easy lifetimes to live, but they are epic. They are full of adventure and just full of beauty. So much beauty. So I suppose one way to make this dialogue practicable and experiential for you is to drop into a contemplative meditation where you just relax the mind and body and you ask guidance. What do I want? Notice what comes up. You don't have to act immediately. If what comes up is like, yo, you need to make this massive change, you don't need to act immediately. Just kind of sit on it. But if it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up day after day, well, sorry to say, but you got to do something about it. And the more extreme you are with following it, the more fulfilled you will be. It's so strange how us as imperfect, perfect humans, we're always operating in this state of the next book will enlighten me, or something outside of us. Like we need something outside of us, more information, more insight outside of us in order to live the life we want. As opposed to just acknowledging that inside of us lies all of the answers. Now, this advice, I don't think, honestly speaking, I don't think is valuable for everyone, but for those who have done the due diligence to study personal development and spirituality and business and the law of attraction, if you've done 12 months of studying that. You got all the answers because all the books say the exact same thing. In fact, you just need to read one book in every single aspect. Most of this journey is just remembering, right? God bless those souls who think they need the next certification to serve others and to lead. I need more information to lead. You need less information to lead. Perhaps that's why I'm in the position where I am, where leadership is my full-time gig, right? Perhaps the reason why I'm here is because, and this sounds silly to say, but there's a little bit of truth to it. Perhaps why I'm here is because my analytical mind doesn't function incredibly well. It just doesn't. And of course, I can put myself into the state where it does, but just naturally, I was always put in the stupid classes. I was always put in the really dumb classes. I was going to a public school and I would be taken out of the public school class and put into like specific English and math classes that are for slower people. And the beautiful thing about that is it's in fact a superpower for me, because the thing that gets in our way is our own analytical mind. And if you're born with a slower one like myself, it's easier to get out of it, right? And that's not a cop out for you super geniuses out there, because that's an incredible gift as well. An incredible gift to be a super analytical genius, because you have the ability to really focus intently on something. And focus is the most important superpower. If you were to pose yourself the question, what am I tiptoeing around? What am I not doing that I know I need to do? Answer's right there. It's right there. Give yourself the permission to be incredibly uncomfortable as you follow the truth. Give yourself the permission to be incompetent as you follow the truth. Give yourself the permission to fail over and over and over again and to be imperfect. Because it's not about doing the right thing. It's about making whatever you do right. I want to take a few breaths here to see if there's anything else that wants to come up. What comes up immediately is this idea of faith. This idea of, in order to follow the truth, the North Star, the intuitive mind, you have to have faith that you are being guided by your higher self. You're being guided by this all-knowing within you, by something really, really big. And you will never put yourself in a situation that you are not capable of mastering and overcoming. You would never do that to yourself. You would never put yourself in a situation that you can't overcome. It's impossible. So we have to trust in that, because that's going to allow us to be really courageous and bold as we express our lives in however many different ways we want to. I love this idea. I remember hearing it a while ago that this game of life is ultimately the game of faith. Whomever has the most faith will create the most epic life. If you were able to believe in the unseen and allow your behavior to be influenced by those beliefs, just imagine the amazingness you'll create within and also without. Stop tiptoeing around the truth. Another component that influences this tiptoeing, pussyfooting behavior is a fear of judgment, of being ostracized, of having others throw rocks at us. And the interesting thing about that fear is those things will happen. People will judge you and people will misunderstand your intentions. That will happen. However, it's not as bad as you think. In fact, it doesn't bother you because when you're really your truth, you don't care what other people think. Now you intend that they understand and feel loved by you, but you truly believe that you're coming from a divinely guided place. So in that, let them think whatever they want to think. I think one of the main purposes of life is to see through every single one of our fears. This can be done by contemplative meditation and just really kind of self-inquiring. What am I afraid of? What if this actually does happen? And just kind of see that if it did happen, you'd still get out of it. You'd still be able to overcome this challenge. That's one way of seeing through the fears. Another way of, and it's perhaps an easier way, another way is to actually face the fear and realize that you didn't die. Another way is to have a guide, a mentor who can be a really good mirror for you and just bring the truth out inside of you and guide you to this destination of, very similar to that first one, contemplative meditation. They guide you to this place of being able to see through the fear without actually having to experience it, so to speak. It's important for you to be aware of how powerful and capable you are. Too often, we hold on to this identity of being a human who can't really do cool things. Being a human who is anxious, being a human who is incompetent. We just hold on to this identity. And we forget how human beings can create miracles and can change instantaneously. Is it easy? Not really. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Can you do it? You wouldn't be here if you couldn't. There's certain things in life that you were chosen to do. Those things look vastly different for all of us. For some of us, it might be to use our voice to inspire change. For others, it might be create an app that is a lot of fun to play. For others, it might be create music, paint, build businesses. One is not superior than another. They're all equal. And you were chosen to do one of those things. Your intuitive mind has been knocking at the door. Hey, you got to do this. It's been there talking to you. It might sound really subtle or it might be really loud. But the reason you are here is to answer that call. Say, yes, yes, I will take on this challenge. I will devote myself to the higher self's guidance. It will become my number one priority. That doesn't mean I stop being a loving son. Doesn't mean you stop doing the things of being a human in this world. You don't have to stop that. In fact, saying yes to higher self's guidance makes all of that so much better. Another awesome benefit of not tiptoeing around the truth and going straight there and really committing our life to a life of being decisive is that we empower other people and we become this testament of what the human being is capable of. And yes, it's really cool to inspire and encourage people who you don't know. Perhaps you just kind of meet them at a shop. You're buying something at a grocery store, and because you're just this beam of light, you empower them a little bit. It's really cool to do that. It's amazing to do that. But in my opinion, when you take on this life of walking the truth, you have this ability to inspire, to impact the people who you love most, your friends, your family. They look at you and they notice something unique and powerful. You inspire them. that, oh my goodness. I know many of you experienced it in many different flavors, many different times, really inspiring the people who you love. It's so cool. So if you're a parent or a sibling, right? Or just a only child, when you take on this life, a life devoted to saying yes to your intuitive mind's guidance, to higher self, when you say yes to that, it has a ripple effect on everybody. And it's an unavoidable ripple effect. It's been really cool for me to witness it in my own life. Seeing my siblings improve, seeing my parents improve, seeing my lovers improve, my friends improve. It's really, really special. And that shit does not happen if you're living a life tiptoeing around the truth. Even if you've read a million personal development books and you know what words to say when somebody comes to you with guidance, if you live a life tiptoeing around the truth, it's not going to land. It's not going to have the impact it could have if you were fully embodied in it. You don't even have to say our smart words. If you're fully embodied, your radiance does the talking. I just started reading this book. I don't even know the name of the book, but it's written by this gentleman, Sri Ramanash, one of those two, an Indian guru in the early 1900s. And the way he taught groups of hundreds and hundreds of people, the way he taught them is through silence, just radiating light and love. The only way he was able to do that is not because of all the amazing books he's read, it's because he embodied it. This life is such an incredible opportunity to create magic, to see a challenge and not allow it to make us feel unworthy, but to transmute it into an opportunity, to take advantage of that opportunity. These opportunities are everywhere, right? Everywhere. It's incredible. It's incredibly overwhelming sometimes how many opportunities there are in our life to follow that truth. So perhaps instead of making the commitment that for the rest of my life, I'm going to follow the truth, we can make it a bit more digestible by making the commitment today, I'm going to follow my truth. And then if you enjoyed it, which you will, the next day you can make that commitment again if it feels exciting and empowering to you. Odds are it will. Because committing to the truth is a whole lot more enjoyable than tiptoeing around it and living a lie and trying and manipulating our words and our behavior in a way to not rub people the wrong way, to kind of just play things safe, to not irritate anybody, to not be negatively judged. Okay, I gotta make sure I do this so nobody thinks I'm like that, right? Oh, there's so much pain in that life. Last thing I will say here before I wrap this up is the fact, listen to me carefully, it's the fact that you, yes, you watching this, you are capable of achieving your dreams. And that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. If you enjoyed this live, comment down below, give me some feedback. Let me know what your number one takeaway was. Share it with your friends, with your family. That's honestly the greatest thing that you can do for me, is simply share it. Last thing I will say is, if you are interested in either one-on-one coaching with me to super accelerate your life and build an epic life, or if you are interested in group coaching with me, email me at drewdiorsi@gmail.com. It's my full name, at gmail.com, and to say, hey, I'm interested in X, Y, or Z. I'm interested in private coaching and mentorship, or I'm interested in group coaching or mentorship. And then from there, I will fill you in on the information and the details, and really just open up this space of possibility. I love you all, unconditionally so, and there's nothing you can say or do to take that away. Peace, blessings, be bold.